Everyone, welcome to Bickering Book Reviews. I'm Sarah.
And I'm Becky.
And today we're talking about Rust in the Root by Justina Ireland. I got this off of Edelweiss.
I got the ebook off of NetGalley.
Okay, so this book, I'm going to try really hard to explain it because it is very detailed and hard to explain. But basically,
I feel like it's speculative fiction. Does that make sense? Which I
yeah,
think makes
it's
it
speculative fiction with some serious fantasy elements. So basically, this is about Ann Langston, who lives in the 1930s. She works with dynamism, which is essentially magic. So she's like a magic weaver. And she has big dreams of becoming like this culinary chef who creates these beautiful pieces of food for others to enjoy. So she leaves her rural Pennsylvania town and goes and lives in New York. But when she gets there, um, things aren't going great because in order to practice magic, you have to have special like licensure to do it. And she doesn't have that, and it's hard as an African American woman to get that. So essentially she's down in her luck, down to her, last few bucks, and she's like, either I join with the government, which she really doesn't want to do, or I go back home. And so after talking to a unicorn, the unicorn suggests that she goes and meets the Skylark, which is a high-ranking official in the government, to sign up for it was like the African American Corps, right? Like it was like
right.
So she goes and joins up with the African American Corps, and once she joins them, they are tasked with addressing. It's called the Deep Blight, and essentially it just sounds like this gray area that has issues with magic, and like it's hard to explain, but it's bad area, like negative, that they've got to clean up and fix and
It's kind of almost
restore
like a
back.
magical dust bowl, right? Like it was kind
Yeah,
of like the
okay.
magic came through and destroyed everything like the Dust Bowl.
Okay,
And
yeah.
that's kind of like the right time period in history for that.
That's a good way of putting it. So yeah, it's like a magical dust bowl. And so they're sent out to go fix it. The only thing is the government has sent several other units of the army to fix it, and they've never returned. So now they've got to go find people who went before them, but also fix it. And so it's going to really put everything to the test. And that's it. Yeah.
I had a hard time with this book.
It was so starting it was really hard because I didn't understand a lot of the magic portions of it. But for me, like once I got past kind of that exposition and I just kind of realized that I was never gonna figure it out, and I kind of just distanced myself from it, then I really enjoyed the story.
Well, and I think I said this to you as I was trying to read it. I felt like the first couple chapters, I was reading a book in a different language because it's
Yeah,
so like deeply embedded in that kind of magic. But then I'm also like, because like Justina Ireland is a good writer, and even though I didn't like the story, like it was so hard. Like the character was likable, and I'm like, maybe I'm just not the right reader for this because I felt like all of the magic stuff I'd never heard of, but maybe that is common in fantasy. Like it was like a mech. There was like a necromancer, but there was also like a mechonancer who did like with
yeah,
machines.
yeah. It was very detailed. Like she definitely spent a lot of time getting it in there. It was a lot of information at once that didn't really make sense. And like the thing is, and she really kind of layered it as far as what the African American community called the magic versus what the government called the magic was very different. And like, so that kind of spoke to kind of difference in dialects, difference in like where people live, and difference in class. So like it was definitely very layered. It was just very hard to understand.
Oh, she can work a metaphor like nobody else. Like you're reading, it's like the same thing with Dread Nation. You're reading this and it's like it's so representative, using fantasy elements to be so representative of the history. Like what you were saying with like the Blight and the Dust Bowl. I mean, like that was basically what it was. Actually, as I was reading this, I was like, maybe she's just a lot smarter than I am, and that's why I don't get this.
That could also I could agree with that.
Because I've read
Yeah.
a couple Maggie Stiefvater books, and I've been like, I don't get this, but maybe I'm just not smart enough.
Yeah. No, but I really did like the characters, and even though it was a bit frustrating at the beginning to because I didn't understand a lot of the magic, I found myself like so I stepped away from the book because we kind of put it on the back burner for a while, but like I had to know what was happening. So like I had to go back to it and finish it. And like I blew through it and I enjoyed it and I wanted more. So like I think that
I
speaks
never
more
got
of the
there.
book. Yeah, I
Yeah.
definitely did.
I was like,
I like the wyvern and the dragons and the I liked that kind of stuff. It was
and that
cool.
was like, I'm kind of like that threw me. Like it was just like out of nowhere there were dragons, and like they found the Welvern and the one that was in the well,
Yeah,
and
I like that. Oh, it wasn't wyvern, it was welvern. I don't know. Never
I think it was
experienced.
a Welvern because a Wyvern is kind of like a dragon, but this was like something that lived in the well and
But I thought it was a dragon that lived in the well.
but it was like that was the whole thing was like it protected the water in the well. So I thought it said Welvern. I could be wrong.
It probably did. But I thought it was like a wyvern, but it was a wyvern just living in the well.
Yeah, I
See,
don't know.
this is part of it, right?
Right,
Like
and this
there's a
is
lot
the
to it.
thing. There was a lot to, and I don't know. I don't know if I'd be willing to read another book.
I think I would.
Um,
Maybe it's because I really like her writing style and I like her characters. I don't know, but like I got to the point where I wanted to know what was going kind of happen next.
I just think it would also be really difficult to who do I give this to? I honestly feel like this book would do better with adults.
I don't know.
I feel like that because of the speculative because speculative fiction and speculative science fiction is like a big like surprisingly at my library we have a lot of adults that come in that want that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Huh. I mean, I think it's interesting. It's fun. It's an interesting way of like re-looking at history.
Yeah.
So,
Should we
all right. I
decide
think
it?
we're kind of at the point where we're gonna rate it. Yeah.
Hmm.
Okay. So our rating scale goes from 5 unicorns down to 2 unicorns. If we don't like it, it doesn't get a horn and is therefore a horse. So where are you?
This was really hard for me. I'm like fluctuating between a 2 and a 3. I think I'm gonna go up to a 3 just because I like character driven books and even though I had a hard time with the story, the main character was a great main character.
Yeah. I'm between a 3 and a 4, and I think I'm gonna go with a 4 just because I really wanted to read this and I was really fascinated and grabbed by the story.
So that is where we are on Rust in the Root, and we'll see you around.
All right, see ya.
Bye.
Bye.